Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. We're going to take a look at what possibly is a more layered situation with Representative Thomas Massie and President Trump's declaration today that he needs to be primaried. Now, if you're not familiar with American politics, because I know some of my viewers are citizens of other countries, we have primary elections. And if a candidate doesn't win the primary, they don't go on to the main election. Often in American politics, the way to get your candidate going is to have that ouster from position happen during the primary. So that's what President Trump was talking about in regards to Thomas Massie. So we're going to take a look at why he said that, what he said, then possibly why he said it, ask if there's some layers to the information. I think there might be, and I waited until I was with you to ask the universe about it. I'm going to take you to a share screen. We'll look at a few things, and that'll help you kind of follow along on my mental processes about this and maybe understand my curiosity a little more, and then we'll see what the universe wants us to know. As usual, we start with the data, then we go into the woo and see if they combine in some fashion. Often they do. Okay, I'm going to take you to a few things that I looked at and compiled. I'll do a screenshot of all of this and put it on the X platform in case you're interested in it later. So let's get to that, okay? Real quick here. First of all, I want to remind you that back in 2018, the 17 team in Post 831 reminded us that misspellings matter. I wanted to remind you of that because today, in his social media post, mentioning that Thomas Massie needs to be primaried, okay? And the reason why is he has voted or will not vote for a continuing resolution. Now, what is that? A CR? Again, you may not know, even if you're an American, and if you're not, you should know a CR that Representative Thomas Massie has expressed opposition to is a continuing resolution, a type of temporary spending bill used by the U.S. Congress to fund government operations when a formal budget has not been passed. Okay, so he is in opposition to that. This bothers President Trump because in the past he has been willing to vote for them. In fact, he was one of the pivotal votes in Biden's debt ceiling raising. He said at the time that he did that because it allowed him to have some input and say about cost cutting down the road. Well, that logic fails to follow through here, or it doesn't follow through here because this continuing resolution is supposed to fund the government while Doge does their digging and waste cutting, and a shutdown only helps those that are trying to avoid those audits and delay that stopping of misdirection of funds. So if Thomas Massie is truly invested in having government be smaller, more transparent, and spending wisely, it would seem like he would grant President Trump, with his vote, this grace period, because Trump's only been in office 50 some days, a grace period to get that investigative process going deeper. And it makes sense to fund that, in my opinion, and then look for the costs once we've got those outrageous misdirection of funds identified and dealt with. Okay, now why I said that misspellings matter, if you look in this social media post, which I'm not going to read in full for you, again, it's all over social media today, and as I said, I'll have a link to a post on X that will have this, including these other items I'm mentioning. Okay, he mentions Liz Cheney, who he also called out to be primaried a couple of years ago. And when he mentions her name, he misspells her name Cheney, which to those of us that look for misspellings because they matter, that right there told me there may be something more to the social media post than meets the eye. And indeed, as I thought back on it, President Trump in the past has had less than flattering things to say about Marco Rubio, who is now our Secretary of State. And yes, we know that President Trump will put people in the spotlight in a position of power to let them either redeem themselves or show their true colors or shoot themselves in the foot. But he can't do that with too many people because he's on a very strict timeline. Goals and objectives have to be met. So there's a limit to the people he can put in that spotlight to have them destroy themselves. Okay. So I don't think that's what he's done with Marco Rubio. But in the past, he didn't have much nice to say about him. Now, we're not going to get into the layers of, well, maybe that was because that was a 1.0 and this is a 2.0. I'm just saying, in the past, he talked negatively about Marco Rubio, and now Marco Rubio's one of his cabinet members, or the person seen in the public eye as him is. So then get a little deeper down the rabbit hole in some of the alt media chatter. People were saying, hey, maybe it's the fact that Thomas Massie does not take any AIPAC money, which comes from anti-Israel, he won't take any, and he's spoken out against Israel. And maybe it's more the fact that the 17 Post, also in post number 916, said that they were saving Israel for last. So there is some speculation in the alt media community that it's not so much that we're pro-Israel at this point, it's that it's not time to deal with them because they're being saved for last. And with his outspokenness about Israel, is it possible Thomas Massie was messing up that timeline for that? That we're saving it for last. It's not, at the top of the agenda right now. Could that be what's going on? I think that's a pretty far-fetched notion, but I did want to put that out there. That speculation has been making the rounds in alt media chatter, and I wanted to say that to you. So, misspellings matter, and there was a misspelling in the social media post that Trump has calling for Thomas Massie to be primaried. Now, there is a short, very small margin of wiggle room with Republican voters. Trump needs to have people voting for his policies. He needs to have them, they need to have his back. Is he simply frustrated because Thomas Massie has repeatedly kind of let him down, acted more like a rhino than a true supporter? Is this some sort of chess move that we can only speculate on until we have more information, or at this point? I'm going to ask the universe about that. And I will include that, even that option about, is it tied with the fact that they're messing up the timeline of saving Israel for last? So we're just going to ask if the universe, first of all, my yes or no element is going to be, was this social media post by President Trump regarding Thomas Massie a coded communication in some way, a layered communication, okay, chess moves, plus additional insights and information about the dynamics and situation going on between these two? Let's see what the universe wants us to know, because the universe knows the truth, even if we only speculate and only know parts of it. We don't get the broad view that the universe does. So let's find out. I'm going to switch the camera. You can watch me work with the cards, and we'll discover the answer to this question together. So because 17 always told us that misspellings matter, in fact, he mentioned it in 3 separate occasions, and there was a misspelling in the social media post put up by the person seen in the public eye as President Trump today, calling out Thomas Massie for his non-support of this continuation resolution. Is there more going on here? Our yes or no element is yes or no. Is there more going on here than meets the eye? Plus additional insights and information. And I guess I want to clarify when I say, is there more going on than meets the eye? Was this a layered, coded type of situation? Chess moves, if you will, plus additional insights and information. We'd like this information to be provided to us in a very easy to read and understand fashion with no veiling or obscuring other than that might be needed possibly for operational security, for the safety of, the white hats that are involved with all of these efforts that are layered in so many ways as we go from dark to light in this complicated world. Oh, the tower. We've got Ace of Swords. There was code of communication involved, but it does seem to be a tower moment for Thomas Massie. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, now we have the Emperor showing up. Hello, Emperor. This is fun. Then we have the Four of Wands, Justice, the Six of Wands, and the King of Cups. Okay, I'm going to tell you just kind of what I'm seeing here in the cards as we go along, and then we'll look at some of the elements in the cards that lead me to say that. Okay, first of all, yes, Thomas Massie has truly messed up at this point in time. President Trump is frustrated with his lack of support. That by not, especially since he says that he voted for the debt ceiling raise because there was an opportunity there down the road to make some other cost-cutting measures. Well, he's not applying the same logic to his rationale now, so it doesn't really make sense, and it is kind of a screw up. But as usual, President Trump has layers to what he's saying. Okay, so why do I say that? Again, here is a white hat, often my Mr. T card, the Emperor showing up, just saying, yeah, he's had enough. He's got that narrow margin of votes to get things passed, and he needs to be able to count on everyone to have his back. Okay, until he shows at such time he shows that he is not doing good things consistently for our country, he needs to have support. Okay, to that end, he is again looking for stability in the those that are going to support his measures. And this actually kind of speaks well of this, but yeah, this is definitely a tower moment for Massie. Okay. Again, especially since his rationale from one administration to the other didn't seem to follow through. There was a little inconsistency there as far as Laura's view is concerned. Now let's look forward. Justice is showing up here. So there is going to be kind of a moment where justice is had by all parties involved here, is what I'm kind of getting. Okay. And it looks like ultimately Thomas Massie is not going to be out of politics, and he's also not going to permanently be in the bad graces of President Trump. It looks like it will resolve nicely for the two of them. That's nice to see. However, there is the King of Cups here. As he's not as insightful as the victory card showing here, which says, it's going to resolve nicely. Justice will prevail. Right now, for his reasons, Trump is taking the action he's taking. Okay. But there's more going on than we see. It is a layered situation, and that's absolutely. But the King of Cups can be kind of tricky. Okay. A little more self-serving than some of the other court cards, and definitely willing to not be forthright if it serves his purposes. So this is something to figure out here, or at least take into account, is that one or both of these men have that capability. And that's one of the factors in having this resolved nicely, is that knowing that, maybe the rationale that on things wasn't quite as forthright as it should have been. So let's see what the universe wants us to know as far as a few more cards. These will be again for the near future and less impactful than the victory card seen here and the kind of cautionary card here of at least one of the players involved as is pursuing some things that they see to be more of a self-serve rather than a country or national serve. And I think that this is an element that we need to realize no matter how much support Thomas Massie has, and I have been a supporter of his. I do follow his social media. But again, a little more self-serving than he would like us to know about. Okay, we have the Nine of Swords, Page of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, and the Five of Cups. Okay, now this card always tells me there's not as much to worry about as we might think there are. Okay, again, these were the most insightful, impactful elements of the read. Page of Pentacles, though, talks about discovery and a search for truth, some diplomacy going on, definitely going on. So again, and it's coming on top of the RES card. So yeah, definitely, definitely. I was right. And those other anons that picked up on the element of the misspelling and how misspellings matter. Yeah, there's more going on, definitely. Now let's look forward here. It does look like there may be, now I am not, I have to say this, okay? There are times that the Three of Cups, which typically means, a chance for some celebrating, but do it, in moderation, not to excess. Um, so it can be a celebration card, but it can also mean the product that is made from the trauma of little ones, okay? That someone involved has knowledge or participated or been involved with that in some way. And I'm kind of leaning towards that as being what the nod is here, even though right now, with the information I have at my fingertips as I make this video, I'm just wondering if someone in the camp, the Massie camp, might qualify for this. I don't want to think that Representative Massie would be one, but whoever it is, they've been caught. Justice is being served. So there's something going on involving one of the players on this whole scenario. And that would not be President Trump. So it's got to be Massie or somebody in his camp or what have you. Sad day for them. They've gotten caught doing things that they shouldn't have done. Okay. So again, we got the Justice card coming up here. Okay. Telling us there's going to be a resolution. So it may just be someone that's associated with or impacting and influencing the decisions that Thomas Massie is making right now. That's a possibility too. Someone in his camp, maybe even unbeknownst to him. I know I recently realized that someone that has been, let's say, chatting me up is an EGI. Were they assigned to me? I don't know. I just know that's what they are now. And so it can happen. You can have someone that's sent to your circle and they're following an agenda of some sort. So that may be what's going on. I'm not going to say it's him because I saw a satisfactory resolution to this entire thing. But in some way, there's a cleanup that needs to be happening with Thomas Massie. His positions maybe someone in his inner circle is not what he thinks they should be and needs to be dealt with and will be. Let's recap. Earlier today on social media, President Trump said that Thomas Massie, especially in light of the fact that he is not supporting a um, continuing resolution, a temporary spending bill that needs to be passed, needs to have support to pass, that he needed to be primaried and out of there because there's been too many times now when there's something that needed to be voted on and passed that Thomas Massie has not been on board. Now, it was especially confusing for me because Thomas Massie was a pivotal vote in raising the debt ceiling under the administration of 46. His rationale at that point was that by doing that, it allowed him to have maybe some leverage or input into some cost cutting down the road. Well, this continuing resolution will fund Doge because there's no formal budget fixed yet while they do their investigating and maybe come up with a more fair and transparent budget. So we asked the universe, what's going on here? There was also something else. One of the 17 posts, in fact, three of them over the years, said misspellings matter. And the social media post that was put out by President Trump did have a misspelling in it. He misspelled Cheney. Instead of having it Cheney, he spelled it with an A. I don't know if the exact misspelling matters, but we are told misspellings matter. So that kind of authored our question to the universe. Was there more going on with this social media post than meets the eye? A layered type of communication, plus additional insights and information the universe wanted to share with us. And here's what we got. Well, first of all, the question on my thumbnail is, did Massie mess up? Oh, yeah. This is a tower moment for Massie. This is going to change, at least in the short term, what happens with him politically. Absolutely. And we got a yes that President Trump again was providing some additional, it's 5D chess. There's communications going on here beyond the obvious. And there was, so misspellings matter. We got a yes on that. So a layered communication. Now, President Trump, recent past, was indicated with the Emperor card. Now, the current situation, kind of reassuring, this is a good card of stability and teamwork. So, despite the fact that it's a tower moment at the moment for Thomas Massie, um, I don't think we need to fear anything as far as, repercussions, fallout, things like that. The Justice card showed up for the near future as being a big element in what was going on. It did let us know that ultimately there would be some celebrating of victory involved. So it looked like this rift between Massie and Trump. Um, I'm not saying it's staged, but it does look like there's more to it and it's going to resolve nicely. Um, then we started getting some things that we're talking about. Watch out, somebody's self-serving and maybe not being transparent. And I'm glad I kept pulling because it looks like what the universe was trying to tell us was that there is someone who is maybe trusted at this point by Thomas Massie in his inner circle, what have you, who may have more going on than meets the eye, may have been assigned to him, feeding him some bad information, what have you. If they do, regardless, there's not as much to worry about as we need to worry about. And the diligence involved with getting to the bottom of the situation and stuff is worth pursuing, and that was shown here. Now, that person, and again, I'm not getting that since, especially since the universe was telling us that ultimately the situation and dynamics between President Trump and Thomas Massie will be good. Will resolve nicely. That's what leads me to think maybe someone more in his circle is someone that maybe needs to have a closer look or redo those background investigations because it looks like whoever that is, now they're not going to be happy about it, but right now they've got some ties that are pretty nefarious that are well hidden. Okay. And since the Justice card came up, it does look like they're going to be found out. Absolutely. But for this and other reasons right now, especially since he's got to get things done and he has to count on a certain percentage of votes to get things done, President Trump did genuinely call Thomas Massie out to be primaried as soon as possible and out of the picture um, for this first part of the Trump second administration. Interesting, huh? I think it is. Well, hopefully now you know a little more about what a continuing resolution is and what might be going on here. And I didn't get any nods that there was any connection to I thought a little far-fetched speculation that was it possible that since Massie speaks out against the country that starts with I, that he's messing up a planned timeline to deal with them because we are told that they would be saved for last. I didn't get anything about that. It does seem to have more to factor in with the fact of the support is crucial, the votes are needed, and you got to have Trump's back if if he's counting on you, and if you don't, there's going to be consequences, big ones, as the cards seem to hint. That's it for this video. I thank you so much for your time and your attention and your viewership. I don't take you for granted. I never will. I never will. I do have an announcement that I'll be doing after I say goodbye to those of you that are just here for the political portion of the reads, okay? And to that end, if that's what you were here for, was for current events, and you'd like to receive it before you go, I send you love, light, and I wish for you everything bright. May your week and life be filled with pleasant surprises. Okay, now if you stayed, I've made a decision about what the focus will be for our meditation on the 23rd of this month. Remember, we're not doing it on the third Sunday this month for personal reasons. We're doing it on the 4th, which is still before the final week. It's a 5-week month. So if you always think of our meditations as occurring on the weekend before the last weekend, it's still doing that. It's just not the third weekend. It'll be on the 23rd. Well, as we learn more about this complicated reality we're living in, we have been discovering that we're agreeing to things without consciously knowing we are. You know, those deceptive language tricks. Like when you tell someone you understand, we didn't know we were saying we would stand under that authority, that information, abide by it. You know, there's been tricks to our language. Absolutely. So I think that we should meditate on being savvy with the contracts we make. This can be from a very personal level, again, for kind of understanding. Um, Example, welcome mats. When you set one out, you're welcoming anything and everything. So a little more savviness about what we communicate and contract and permit and give consent to is the focus. But even more, there's been talk of the United States withdrawing from some world organizations. A lot of support, at least on the wake and aware, citizenry on these things. And so rather than ask for a specific outcome, I wanted to, at least for the national level and even for the world level, just ask for some really savvy contract negotiation going on. Okay. Good, smart decisions and good, smart follow through. Again, savvy contracting, okay, or savvy consenting, savvy participation, however, whichever kind of blend of that would apply. So I thought that would be a good focus for our meditation. So that'll be the primary focus of the March 23rd um, meditation, which will be always 2%, 2%, 2 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time now. And that equates out to 7 p.m. in London. And you can look up the time zone if you're a new participant. And one last thing, just a little happy note. Um, Today is my older cat, Alieska's 14th birthday. She's starting her 15th year. She's starting to show that she's starting her 15th year. But she's still with us and doing fairly well. I wish she was a little younger and a little sprier, but I wish that for myself too. You get what you get. And as the kids are taught to say, and you don't throw a fit. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you for staying till the end. And just as I did before, if you'd like to receive it, I wish for you love, light, everything bright. And again, also just a week and existence filled with pleasant surprises. We all need them. Let's have them. Bye.